Hello, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. Let's get started by doing a recap on our latest features. And today's feature, we're going to show you a very interesting new feature that we did. It's a sheet relationship diagram. So if you click on the hamburger menu, you will find it under database management. So going to the sheet relationship diagram, you will be able to create different diagrams that's generated from your sheets, because you may have a lot of sheets. So we allow you to create different diagrams that shows the relationships between your sheets. So for example, we can create a new diagram by choosing our default menu tab. So we're going to do a diagram on these sheets. So if you want to filter the sheets, let's not do that first. And what types of relationships I should be displaying on this. So for the demonstration purpose, let's display all types of relationships that's provided by the diagram. So if we click on generate diagram, it's going to generate a diagram like this. So, and it depicts the relationships between these, between different sheets. And as you see, a lot of those lines are link and load. So those are mostly, if you have link and load on these sheets, then they're going to display as these red lines of link and load. And of course, if you think there's like too much link and load display that gives the diagram a messy look, you can generate again and not display the link and loads. Okay. This makes the chart a lot more separate from each other. So yeah, let's still display the link and loads. Okay. Yeah, because in a lot of cases, the link and load is the major building blocks of the relationship between the sheets. Anytime you have like a linked field, like you chose a record from another sheet, it's gonna appear as a link and load between these sheets. So, of course, I chose quite a lot of forms for this. So it's gonna look a little bit messy, but still, they have a complex relationship, so it's gonna look a little bit messy if you have a larger form design. So you should filter out and remove some of the sheets to make this a little bit easier to understand. Oops. Generate diagram. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah, so with this process, you will be able to generate the diagram between your sheets. And by clicking on a sheet, you will go to the actual sheet that in this diagram. So anytime you could just click on a sheet and go to the diagram representing. Go to the actual sheet represented in the diagram. And you can save the diagram by entering diagram name. So this is for inventory diagram. So then I could save the diagram. So next time, if I go into the sheet relationship diagram, I can just click on view to go to the exact same configuration that I have right here. Oops. All right. So feel free to play around with this feature, and you will be able to generate diagrams. And this is pretty useful, especially if you're introducing other people to your current Ragic design, or you're handing over a system administration job to another colleague in your company, so that they know what kind of sheets that you have designed. And this will be really helpful for like knowledge management for all the things that you did inside of Ragic. And another thing, which is an older feature, but I should mention here also, is that Now we also have a data dictionary in the database maintenance. So if you go to the data dictionary, it kind of displays every single field and their field ID and their configuration. So this could work as a good internal documentation. You could generate this as a PDF so that you have a pretty comprehensive set of like data dictionary documentation for the application that you designed. So anytime also if you're handing over your job to another colleague or a vendor who's going to develop some applications for you, and these kind of API data dictionary will be immensely helpful for these developers to know what to call, like the URLs that they should call and the parameters that they can use in order to build some applications based on what you have already designed. All right, and that's it for the recap of today. And let's go back to the office hour questions. Okay, first question. Formulas, consistency tracker, and auto rearranger. Okay. Hi Jeff, one of the toughest and time-wasting tasks for Ragic developer is keeping eye on formula consistency across multiple versions of the same sheet. Yeah, that could be quite a bit of work if you have a lot of versions. Could you please make a button that applies the current sheet formula to all supporting sheets if they have the same fields, or just clean the formula if not? It can save us tons of working time and nerves. Thanks a lot. Okay, first of all, is this even possible? Let's take a look. Okay, this is in Russian, but what kind of change? Oh, so you're changing the formula on one and you want to make the same kind of change to other versions. I guess it should be possible, because if you make changes inside a sheet, it's gonna update the formula automatically for you. And if you update the formula on one sheet, it's supposedly should be able to, at least prompt you to to see if you want to make the same change to each of those multiple versions. So for example, if you say like this +1, and you want this +1 to be at least be asked if this +1 should be applied to each of those different versions on the same field ID on different versions of the sheet. Yeah, I guess this is possible. Yeah, in some cases, you definitely don't want to apply the same formula, but yeah, I guess on most cases you would probably want to apply the same formula. Okay. Thank you for your suggestion. This should be technically feasible. This time, this feature is something that we can support or design. Okay. Okay, next question. Ragic and SMS broadcasting, sending, Twilio, etc. Hello, Jeff. Question regarding the SMS sending feature of Ragic. Is Ragic exclusively cooperating with Twilio company about the SMS sending feature? Actually, no. We are cooperating with more than one company when sending the SMS. Is there any other partnerships? And where can we find details on fees charged for SMS purchasing? And right now, but for most part of the world, at least for the English-speaking part of the world, Twilio is being used in most places. So yeah, generally we're using Twilio to send out these messages. So and yeah, basically you could just look at Twilio's pricing, SMS pricing, to figure out how much you're paying for your text messages. And basically we're not charging anything extra other than the cost that we're paying Twilio ourselves. So Twilio pricing. Oh. So if you go to pricing the SMS messages, you should be able to just pick a different country and find out how much the pricing is. Right now, for worldwide use, and generally it's by default we're working with Twilio, and we're only working with like other companies in like Chinese-speaking regions. For most parts of the world, we are working with Twilio to send SMS messages. You can check out the price here. Chinese-speaking country. Twilio for text messages. All right. So basically for most part of the world, we're using Twilio. Okay, next question. Field dependent on other field. Is it possible to implement a restriction where a user cannot enter data into one field unless another specific field is filled? For example, if I have two fields, contract number and description, the user should not be able to enter any information in the description field unless the contract number field has been completed. Yeah, it sounds like this could be done with conditional formatting. So let's do a quick demo. Any contract sheet? No? Okay, let's just create a new sheet. Let's say contract. Okay, so here's the contract number. And let's keep it free text. And contract description. Okay, so you want the contract description, let's save this first. You want the contract description to be not editable unless contract number is filled. So you can go to conditional formatting, create a new rule. So if contract number is is empty, then make read-only the contract description. Okay, so I think this should work. So by default, contract description is read-only. So only after you enter a contract number, then you will be able to enter the contract description. Okay, so let me do a quick screenshot here. You should be able to do this with conditional formatting, like this. And for more details on conditional formatting, I'll just open up the documentation here. Always remember to check out our documents to know more about the features that you're using. Okay, yeah, and this is empty, not filling in anything. That's basically empty to see if it is empty. All right, and that's it for the questions for today, and that's it for the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. If you have any other question, please feel free to use the Office Hour question sheet to ask your questions, and I will be answering your questions in 2 weeks. Thank you and goodbye.